what's up, y'all? My name is Emmanuel Burgess, also known as Cadillac Burgess. I'm the founder of a company called Cloud After Dark.
Hey guys, I'm Jared Baker. I am the lead instructor here at Cloud After Dark.
Hi, I'm Lauren Johnson. I'm a former and sometimes current student of Cloud After Dark. I am a full-time associate cloud systems developer.
Hi guys, my name is Dotun Coker, and I'm still currently a student of Cloud After Dark, and I am an infrastructure engineer on CI/CD DevOps.
I think the most frightening part was just not knowing what they were going to ask. I felt comfortable with Linux. I felt really comfortable with Terraform, but I just wasn't really sure what the situational questions would be. And so that kind of frightened me. I wasn't sure how the questions would be worded. And I think that was what really scared me.
I think for me, it kind of relates to what Mr. Johnson mentioned is as much as prepared as I was, I still wasn't sure how the interview would go. So even though I felt I had prepared for most of these interviews, unsure or uncertain of how the interview would go was definitely the most frightening. And the first couple of minutes usually sets the tone. So I try to make sure those first minutes I come with my game on. But as I said, unsure of what how the interview would go was probably the most frightening.
Do you mind if I add something to that?
Yep.
I think what you said was great, and I think that what really helped me was one, really doing a lot of labs, because it kind of helps you feel, even if you don't have the experience that you want, you're building up some type of experience that you can draw on. So when they ask you certain questions, you can remember, oh, I used to click here, or oh, I used to work on this part. And also, I feel like in tech in general, you have to have two skills. Like, you have to have the skill of learning the job, and you have to have that skill of interviewing for the job. And it takes a little bit of time to like build up that muscle. So, for people that are coming in, they're new or start interviewing, I think you got to give yourself some grace, because it takes time to build up that interview muscle.
Once you go through so many interviews and you get denied, I think there's something that you can take away from each interview, right? And so I think, and I tell everybody this who goes through Cloud After Dark, I think the mark of a great interview is when you can turn your interview into a conversation, right? And so now you're just talking about something that you love, and it comes off more natural. And so I would tell anyone, to get to that point, it takes iteration. Like, you have to go through interviews, you have to prep, you have to study. But once you get to that point, I think it's a really good place to be when you're just talking about something that you love. It really doesn't seem like an interview. It kind of transforms that into a conversation.
Yeah, and I want to also just to add a little bit to that is doing interviews or a couple of interviews gets you to see different similarities, especially if they're similar roles, and those experiences will prepare you for the next interview. So getting a no on your first interview, it's really should be a learning curve instead of a disappointing interview. Take as much from the failures, and those will help you build the building blocks to your success.
What advice would you give someone who interviewed but didn't get the role?
I had an experience I just had about a month ago. I'd interviewed for the role. I'd gone to the first phase with HR. I'd gone through the ANOMA assignment. I'd gone through the next job. The next phase was a technical interview, and I did really well. But I felt like I was a little short, but I didn't think being that short would not get me the role. But when I got the email, it was disappointing. And I felt like I was probably really close to getting the job, but did not get the job. So it was disappointing. But what I learned during the process of that interview helped me get my current role. And without that interview, I don't think I would have been fully prepared, because it tested me being able to speak to somebody about a job I wanted. It tested my ability with a Tocom assignment to research and prepare for an assignment that I had to take home, look into different topics that I'm familiar with, but was tailored into a different kind of question area. And that exposed me to something else. And then doing like a live tech break and fix also, which is the first time I ever did that, also exposed me to another level of interviewing, because some roles you don't do a tech, you don't do like a live break and fix. With this role, it required me to do that. And they tested both the tech, the break and fix, and also the customer service. So sometimes in this role, they will test you in one interview, multiple areas.
When I don't get roles, or when I you want to know about the first one, but I say in general, when I interview and I don't get a role, I don't get down anymore. I think initially I did, but now I learn what I don't know. I learn what I need to study or what I need to tighten up on. The questions that I mess up or the questions that I bomb, it's like, okay, cool. And I always take notes when I interview. I always ask, hey, do you mind if I take notes? So most of them don't mind. They appreciate it. They like that you're trying to be detail oriented. And whatever I don't know, okay, got you. That's what I got to go back to the lab, or, go back to the study session and pick up and figure out.
So guys, my question is, what wise advice would the current you give to the former you when starting the interview process? So if you could talk to the former you at the beginning of the process, what are some wise things, maybe some words of encouragement, or just something that's very wise that you would tell the former you?
I got this. I probably tell myself to be patient. I say that because I came from, I was in tech already, but I was in a different side of tech. I was in like business intelligence, SQL development, databases, that type of thing. And so I expected to really transition really smoothly. Like I thought I was going to be, come on, you got it right there. And, and again, that could have been the overconfidence on my part, but I really did believe that. And so I think I just needed to tell myself, like, hey, kind of pump your brakes, pace yourself. You're learning something new, and these people want something different from you. So take your time. It's not, I just thought it was going to be smooth, and it wasn't, and I got frustrated. And so just telling myself, hey, like, it's all right, pace yourself, and just learn what you need to learn.
Okay. The same question, Mr. Coker. What wise advice would the present day you give to the former you during this interview process?
I kind of jotted down three real quickly, and the first one kind of it leans a bit into what Mr. Johnson just mentioned. No is okay. I know it's hard to pass that message across, especially if you're really hungry and you're really trying to get this, trying to break into this environment. Just like Mr. Johnson, I had my background was in IT. I had been supporting, the server environment in 2 different roles. So I thought all I needed to do was get that cloud cert, and then I'm off to the stars, But I got the couple of no's, and it kind of kept me back. I'm like, here, I've managed servers before. I have managed, worked in an IT environment before. So all these things were not new, just probably applying it in a different way. But a lot of times they want to see that exact experience they're looking for you to do on the job. So it's okay if you hear no. I would just would have told myself, take the no's, learn from the interviews, and go keep going. Second is tailor your search. Just like Mr. already said earlier, don't just spray around, try and tailor your search to your skill set, try and tailor your search to what you're looking to go into. And that will really help you in the kind of interviews you kind of go into and learn from. And the third one I had there was be open, a lot of times we're so hang on, applying for these jobs, but sometimes some jobs that these are really posted to get someone else who's already going to fill it. So as much as you're applying, be open to the fact that this might not be my role, but mine is coming.
Okay, great. So that's going to help the next person. And what I'm hearing from you guys is a few things that you mentioned is be open, and the nose is going to help to build character going forward, and also be patient and keep working on your craft. So appreciate the insight, guys.
So what was one of the biggest misconceptions you had when you were trying to get into the cloud industry?
I think for me, having had probably 6 years of experience before I got my first cloud cert, I thought that was going to really do it for me. And that was, after doing some research, it was a big misconception. You hear people just being able to jump into a flat cloud role and you think, okay, I got background in IT, all I need is a cert to get me in, but that did not open the door. It took a lot more work than just getting the cert. So the cert is fantastic, but it's not going to open the floodgates. Your work, your learning, your being in the process would get you to the end goal. So that's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Look, I remember when I was just trying to get in. So, man, I'll go on YouTube and I look at all these videos and they'll be like, hey, man, get your cert. And then I'll go to these platforms and they'll be like, yeah, man, if you get your cert, you can make, 6 figures. And so I'm like, yeah, let me get my cert, man. So I got my cert. I got on my first interview. I got my butt handed to me, right? Because it's more than just the certification. And I think that's a big misconception. And so you have people out here pushing, yeah, man, get your cert, you can do this, or you can be a cloud engineer in a month. All you gotta do, it's not like that. The cert is good, and so the cert is the foundation, whether you're in AWS or GCP or Azure, but that's just the foundation. Now you have to understand how to build on this foundation. You have to understand what tools you can use to automate certain processes or create certain processes within these cloud platforms, right? And there's so many things that I didn't know, but I was naive to because there was nothing out there saying, hey, well, if you want to be a DevOps engineer, you got to learn Terraform, you got to learn Ansible, you got to learn Git, you got to learn GitHub, you got to learn, all these other tools. And so for me, I think that prolonged me getting the job that I wanted because I was ignorant. I just didn't know.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, I think the cert is, I don't want to pretend, I don't want people to feel like the certs are useless or worthless. You do get a base level understanding of the services when you get a cert. And when you put your certification on your resume, that might get you a look. You know what I'm saying? That might get you a call. That might get you a screening or an interview. But what's going to get you the job is knowing those tools, is knowing how to navigate, the platform, knowing how to, apply those services in the right way. So I feel like, I don't want to completely discount the cert. It matters. And it's an entry level way. It's like a way into the door to know what you're supposed to know, you know what I'm saying, or kind of have a foundation for it. But it's not enough to get you the paycheck, you know what I'm saying? So you got to go further for the paycheck. But it'll get you a call. You might get an interview, but you ain't gonna get that job.
Hey, what they say, close but no cigar. So,
yeah.
But to me, it's more than a paycheck. I mean, for me being in this industry, it's just an extension of something that I love to do. Like I love troubleshooting, I love problem solving, I love automating. Like automating makes you feel like you have this superpower.
Yeah.
And so these are things that I love. And of course, the pay is a bonus. But you know, I think that you have to love it. And so when you love it, going back to the interview, that's what changes your interview into a conversation, right? You're just talking about something that you love. You just can't be in it for just the money.
I would say it's a process. You need to realize it's not a straight shot. It's a process. So my journey, even though I had IT background for like 6 years, I had to go through a new learning process to get to being able to have an infrastructure engineer, CI/CD DevOps role. And in that journey, I got my certs. In that journey, I learned DevOps tools. In that journey, I got a couple of interviews and I got my nose. And in that journey, I finally got the yes. So it's a process, with everything, you really got to build up towards, achieving the goal. So just put yourself in the process and learn from every stage of the process. It's really what my final closing remarks would be.
Those are good. I have to, I don't know if I can beat that, but I'll just say that I only have like probably two pieces that I think are really important. One, just stick with it. Just stick with it. It's gonna be worth it, man. Like the compensation for people that are in the cloud these days is getting, it's ridiculous. They're always hiring. They have a lot of positions to fill. The industry is growing. Don't let, the nose or, getting the certification, that process, any of that stuff deter you, because it's worth it. I mean, you're talking about, you could put 6 months to a year and change your life. There's people that are going to school for 4 years that can't make enough to pay their bills. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say just stick with it, and then goodness gracious, understand the second part. I would say is just understand that it's a never ending learning process. Like once you get the cert, it's not done, because you may need to get the second cert, or you may need to learn Terraform. Now you need to learn Ansible. Now you got to learn Docker. Now you got to learn Kubernetes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or now you got to learn a second cloud. You got to learn Azure. Like it never, and there's probably going to be a new tool, in a year or two that's going to change that process. So just kind of wrap your head around, you're not going to know it all, and there's going to be a constant learning process. And I think, it'll set you up for success.
Yeah, I think that's dope. Like fall in love with the process, right? That's dope. So look, that's it, man. So look, thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna try to have these like once a month or maybe bi-monthly, I don't know. But if you enjoyed this, man, let us know on LinkedIn or go to the website, drop us a note. We appreciate y'all. Till next time.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys.